Hey ERBC family, wanted to reach out to you with a quick thank you to those of you who were able to join us this past weekend for worship, whether that was live here on our corner or through one of the different channels through which we've live streamed our worship services. I also wanted to give you an invitation to be here with us this coming weekend. In just the last few days, a lot of things have changed in our world. The dam finally broke on the coronavirus, and the world's been filled with frightening news as the United States government declared a national emergency, and the World Health Organization declared the coronavirus to officially be a global pandemic. You've heard all that means in terms of the canceling of concerts, conventions, sporting events, weddings, and the closing of schools. This is something we've never seen before in our lifetime, and it's a good time to remind ourselves that God is still in control. This isn't the first virus to hit our world, and it isn't going to be the last. The Bible tells us that right now, all of the creation is groaning and longing for the day when there'll be no more sickness, no more disease, the day when Jesus Christ will return. Until that day comes, you and I need to remember that God holds us in the palm of His hand. Even before we were born, He numbered our days. He determined the day that we would enter the world and the day that we'd leave it. The Bible also tells us that if we placed our faith in Jesus Christ, then the same Spirit lives in us that raised Him from the dead. If you have that Spirit and that power, then you have nothing to fear. But faith and wisdom don't compete with one another. And based on the information we've been given, we've made the decision to hold our worship services online only this weekend and for the next several weekends. That means we won't be welcoming anyone in person into our church building, but instead are inviting everyone to join us live online on Saturday evening or Sunday morning. We felt that that was our responsibility to our volunteers, to our staff, and to the people we love in our church and our community. We'll be sending you reminders throughout the week on how you can tune in to join us online this weekend. I'm grateful for the technology that allows us to stay connected in this way. And as we think about that, let me encourage you to make our online worship experience a habit each weekend, no matter how long this shutdown lasts. Whether you join us on Saturday at 5:30 or Sunday at 9 or 11, make it your habit to be with us. Let's put into practice what the writer of the Hebrews tells us, that we not neglect the assembling of ourselves together. Even if we can't gather together physically, but like Paul shared when he wrote to the Thessalonians, I'm not with you in body, but I'm with you in spirit. And technology enables us to do that. So I want to encourage you to make online weekend worship your habit. Decide now that you're going to join with us for one of our weekend worship services with your family every single weekend. Our plan right now and for the coming weeks is no face-to-face meetings. No big church, no kids church, no life groups, no Sunday school, no serving groups. We're canceling all our classes and groups officially and won't be holding any meetings at the church. Now obviously you can meet with whoever you want to on your own, but we just caution you to be careful and be mindful of the guidelines our leaders are asking us to follow for the benefit of all of our neighbors around us. Also, I'm asking you to please be aware of the most vulnerable around us. We're looking for creative ways to check in on one another within our church during this time. I'd encourage you to check on your neighbors. How are they doing? Do they need anything? Is there anything you can help them with? Be generous. One of the things that has set the people of God apart throughout history is that when plagues struck a land, God's people didn't retreat, but continued to pour themselves out to those around them in sacrificial ways. As we go through these days, remember that God is not surprised by anything going on in this world, and He's promised to walk with us as we walk with Him. Remember that we're in this together, and we're not in this alone. In Isaiah chapter 41, God gives us this promise. When you go through deep waters, I will be with you. When you go through rivers of difficulty, you will not drown. When you walk through the fire of oppression, you will not be burned up. The flames will not consume you. For I am the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, your Savior. You are precious to me, you are honored, and I love you. And I want to tell you I love you, ERBC. I'm praying for you, and I'm confident that God is going to see us through this. I'll be back in touch with you soon. Until then, God bless.